juego con bandolero, porque yo sé que voy a ganar, yo sé que voy a ganar, a la acción mía voy a pichar, y yo no voy a poder parar. Yo no juego con bandolero, porque yo sé que voy a ganar, yo sé que voy a ganar.
Oh, what a sweet day, baby.
How's it going with your ass?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. My brother from another mother.
Oh, yes. Oh, man. So welcome, everyone, to episode 50. We've been talking a lot.
We talk a lot of shit. That's what we do.
A lot of shit. We need to... Sponsored by toilet paper brand. Because we talk so much shit.
Jeez. 50 episodes. You know, it's crazy to see that we're at 50 episodes. I mean, I know we have a few other things that we've done separately, but
right.
Good to see.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Thank you for being with us for 50 episodes. I know a lot of friends and family, but we have seen a surplus of people that like our content. So thank you for coming in and giving us a chance and giving us a shout. We made it to 50 episodes, and we're going to do another 50 more and 100 more because we ain't got nothing else to do.
Looking for another 5,000 more. I don't know about 50.
So remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, we have our Twitter page, which is going to be @ratedf2, and the Instagram, which is @rated_f. Always let us know what you would like to see us talk about or hear us talk about, because we on Apple Podcasts, we on Spotify, and officially thank you, Felix, for your tech support. We're going to have a class on that when it comes to the house later. We are on Amazon Music. Let me say it again. We are on Amazon fucking Music.
I love it.
How?
We finally did it.
Bro, you're a genius, because I have no idea what I'm doing. When it comes to the post and this and the other, that's why I said we're taking a class so I can keep up to par and get some social media and marketing going on my side of the thing. But thank you, Felix, for getting us on all 3 platforms when it comes to podcasts and hearing us as much as see us, because they don't want to see us ugly faces.
But you know what? We have these nice, cool, sexy voices here that you want to catch it on there. Now you can do it.
Nice little background music and stuff, set the mood. Baby making. We're gonna call it Rated F Baby Making Podcast.
Oh God, please don't! All of a sudden, we're gonna have a bunch of people fan mailing us saying, "Listen, sir, I need you to stop."
Statistics show that there's an increase in babies named Robbie and Felix. I don't know why.
I did not expect that. Oh, jeez.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We got more coming on along the way. Felix, once we partner up today, we'll see if I can take over the next one, which is trying to get on another platform. I'm not going to say any names because if it changes, I'm not liable. So, man, what do you got to talk about, man? I know we didn't do much on Instagram this time around. It's been crazy at work for the both of us. But what about Rated F news for you, brother? What's going on there?
Oh man, I got some interesting news that was sent over to me, and I had to say, probably one of the most craziest things I've ever seen. I love to travel. So far, I've been on a few cruises. What I've never done is do a contest where I would possibly die. Man dies after trying to drink all 21 cocktails on a menu during a family vacation in Jamaica.
Of course you would.
Okay. Oh, it's 100% alcohol poisoning. So, hear this: a UK man died while on vacation while his family was in Jamaica after he tried to complete a challenge that involved drinking all 21 cocktails included on the resort's bar menu. So this is from ITV News. Timothy Southern, 53, of Staffordshire, was able to drink 12 of the menu's various cocktails before returning to his hotel room at the Royal Decameron Club Caribbean in St. Anne, where he later died due to acute gastroenteritis. related to the alcohol consumption.
Mhm.
True. Sorry, I had an investigation into the man's death was found that had been in drinking brandy and beer in the morning before and partaking in the car. So he had already
Yeah, he was
had
already pre-gaming, and
he
then
was
he started
pre-gaming for this.
pre-gaming. It's
Um,
not, no.
apparently they found him. He was on his back choking, and so this is actual quote from one of the responders. So he was on his back choking. I put him in recovery position and screamed for an ambulance. One of his family members later told authorities he was making a gurgling sound as soon as he was in the recovery position. He vomited. I was shouting his name with no response. The family has since criticized the first responders at the hotel, saying they were not prepared to take care of him, calling the service disgusting. When the nurse arrived, I said, had an ambulance been called? And she said no. I thought she would take over, but that was not the case. I know he was starting to lose temperature. I checked his pulse and couldn't find it, the relative said. Oops, sorry, hit the button. She said he had a pulse. I was starting to lose it. I got a full look at his face and I thought he had passed away, the relative continued. I said, "Don't just sit there. He's looking. Don't just sit there looking at him. Start CPR." She only gave him a chest compression, and maybe if she had known what she was doing, maybe he would still be here. They added. So there's also a GoFundMe on that post that they were trying to like get him back because he died in Jamaica and they can't get the body back to UK.
Oh, man.
So I've never. That's the first I've ever heard of this. Not saying that this hasn't happened before on cruises
No, I've heard of it.
or
Especially
trips.
in college, like like fraternities when they do hazing.
Oh yeah,
There's
I can see
many,
that.
too. It's something that they don't want. A lot of colleges like to undermine, but when it hits the news, all of a sudden they want to play cleanup, and it's like, yo, it's not funny. Like I
Yeah.
understand you're taking a drink and you're in college and you want to, but you will die if you drink too much alcohol. You know,
And if not treated quickly, so
Mhm.
in his state, they probably should have had someone ready on call in case something like this happened. Because if it is
Right.
alcohol poisoning, who knows what's on that menu? 21 cocktails. I doubt it's all the same rum or all
Yeah.
the same whiskey. So I'm sure it's one of those like mixing already. He already had bourbon and
Right.
beer to start the day, so that's already two different alcohols.
Yeah.
Add in the other 12, whatever he had drank, and if there's sugar involved with it,
Yes. And if he was eating or not. Also, how big those drinks were, if they were watered down with ice or not. You know, you go to ale house and get a nice watered down drink, throw back 6 of those and take a drive, you'll be fine. But
yeah,
it's not. Don't drink a drive. But like it does.
like that
It's
segue
not.
back into don't drink and drive, people.
Yeah, don't do what I don't do what I do. Do what I say. But that's sad. You know but you got to know your limitations. You know,
Yeah,
and what's the price? You know, I don't care what the prize is, but what's the price of trying to, throw back 21 cocktails? Even if they're a cocktail, you're looking at a cocktail like a Bloody Mary, you're looking at about 6 to 8 ounces,
oof,
depending.
depending.
So
Yeah,
times that by 21, different alcohols, juice, as you said, sugar. He's not eating; he's focusing on you know,
this
this
contest,
content.
whatever it is.
Plus, he's already been drinking earlier in the day. Plus, this probably wasn't the first day of him drinking. You know, maybe so. You're in Jamaica; they're just cheap. So,
Yeah, it's true. And if it is in Jamaica, so if it's anything like I've never been to Jamaica, but if it's anything like the Bahamas,
yeah,
that I've been there now a few times, those shots, normally a shot's this big. A
yeah,
shot in the Bahamas is maybe about this big,
yeah. They give you
and
a good.
then oh yeah, it's a bang for your buck. But
Yeah,
if they're getting a cup this big and it's like this much alcohol and the rest is just whatever it is,
yeah. And then currency-wise, when you think about America, it's 100 to 1. I'm not sure, right as of right now, what it is, but I remember for the past few years, it's been about 100 to 1. It's just like Guyana.
yeah.
It's up there, but the euro outweighs the dollar. So
Is it outweighing the dollar right now?
as of right now, I'm not sure, but it has a track record for the past few
Yeah, I know
decades.
in the past they normally been a little bit, but I want to say the
It
last
might be
3 years.
balancing out. It's never been the dollars over it.
Actually, no, it was for I think like
For
2
what?
years because I remember when I was at Nike and I was working there, all of our
Ooh.
UK customers
Right.
used to always talk about like they would bank more coming here. Same thing
Mm.
for the Brazilian dollar, where
Yes, I
they would
remember the
bank more
Brazilian.
coming
Yeah.
here, and that's why they would spend so much money and then go back because going back they would lose some money. They
Okay.
would lose the in pounds. So it there was a time period where it was. I just don't remember the
Yeah.
like that exact timeline.
Because I know it was like for €1 it was like 72 cents or something per dollar.
Something like that
Yeah.
at one point.
I'm sorry I'm mistaken on that one. But yeah, man, sad to hear that somebody's died on something, but I mean, if you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough, man. Sorry to say it. You know what you're getting into. It's alcohol. It ain't water.
Yeah.
And you could die from water.
And he's
Remember,
53 years old, so I'm sure it wasn't
that's
like anyone
young.
coaxed him to do it.
No,
Like
you
he's
open up
been
the
probably drinking for a
restaurant
little
and you're
bit.
young. Yeah. No, man. It's just like you remember that contest for I think it was a GameCube or the Nintendo Wii or something like that. And the lady was
Okay.
in the water drinking contest. She drank like 2 gallons of
Oh
water and died. That was like
yes,
15 years ago.
I almost forgot about that,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. You could die from water poisoning. You could die from air poisoning. Too much rich oxygen, you could pass out.
Yeah, too much of anything is always going to be a negative.
Yeah. I stick to a couple of drinks. Yeah. My rate of death is a little scientific. My rate of news. So there is a company based out of California
Oh,
that
I
has
actually
invented a not only sustainable electric vehicle, but is also one of the first concepts for a flying automobile. And they are
that
taking
is
pre-order.
interesting.
Problem is, it costs $300,000.
Of course, of course.
So the good thing is when this hits the market, it's going to bring down. I would say because of popularity and just how marketing and sales works, it's going to bring down the cost of a lot of other electric cars because when the new thing comes out, people want to sell the old stuff. So like the price of a Tesla, the price of the electric car.
I hope because I'm trying to get me a Tesla.
And, the ones from like Toyota. I'm a Toyota guy, so hey, I've always been a Toyota guy. I'm gonna be a Toyota. Well, in my adult life.
I was gonna say like we just had a whole conversation in the last episode
Mustangs
about
and
you
all
being
that
in a
stuff.
Mustang.
But my parents always had Toyotas in the driveway. I was just like, oh wow, RAV4s and Camrys and this and that. And my brother and I recently had and sold a Corolla. So if they have their electric cars, which I know they do, that's going to be something awesome to see and obtain. But apparently, this flying car here, you get up to about 200 miles on a drive on a single charge
Wow.
electric. But in its flying position, you get 110. That's not bad. You could fly from here to Tampa and still have some juice.
100%.
Yeah, because Tampa's about 75, 80 miles away.
Roughly, because I know it's about an hour for us. It's about almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like
So it's about
an hour and a half.
Hour and a, yeah, that's what I said almost because it depends on the traffic.
Yeah, it does depend on the traffic. You're all right because sometimes it take 4. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But
You remember my wedding? It took you like a whole day.
dude. And we were trying to get there on time, but then we were like, okay, we can't get there the Thursday because that's a no-no. But then we got stuff going on Friday morning, so we just get there Friday because the wedding is.
Man, if you guys had that flying car, you would have been there like early as heck.
We would have been there maybe like 2 hours early.
I'll give you 3 hours early at the way.
Because we got to stop and juice because that's a drive.
Yeah, but even so, if it's anything like the Tesla, when I drove the Tesla for the first time to Georgia, and it took us about a solid 8 hours to get there, which is about what it took us to get to Destin for the wedding. And I stopped maybe a total of 4 times to juice it. Maybe actually, I think if I remember, it's like 3 times. I stopped 3 times going, and like 3 times coming. So like maybe all in all like 6 times.
Oh wow.
And the stop was like 30 minutes because we'll go to Supercharge, charge it up, maybe get a bite to eat, maybe walk around Buc-ee's or something like that, and then hit the road again.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So it wasn't bad.
Yeah. Good.
So I would imagine with this flying car, it's a good concept. I actually did hear about it recently. I just didn't read the whole story, but it is an interesting concept. The $300,000. Come on, man. Rich people are gonna be buying. You're gonna see 50 Cent roll up with that damn thing. 2 of them.
Maybe they're gonna have 6 of them in every color.
You always wait for me to drink to say something.
Yeah, but you never know what we're doing pretty good in the radar. So you never know. We might be flying around. We might have a flying car one day.
Hey, support your zaddies here. Help us get a flying car.
You know, so tell your friends and family. Let us know. Flying car in the future. We're gonna share it, but flying car in the future, man. Oh yeah. Well, let's get to the topic at hand, man. And a pre-warning. If you are squeamish, if you are sensitive, if you just a bitch ass, I'm just kidding. But but if you,
I was gonna be like, what a way to really piss them off.
Look, I am an advocate for a good conversation, and sometimes conversations go in a direction that you don't want it. But that's the point of a conversation and having different opinions because we are different people. So if you like this conversation, stick around. If you don't like this conversation, fuck off. My mouth is loose. I'm fine with it. Everybody's going to have to be fine with it because that's who I am. This is our channel. If you don't like our opinion, go away. If you like our opinion, stay. Tell your friends. But we are entitled to our opinion and how we perceive things and what we see the world as, and that's the end of it. So, on that note, we are going to be talking about pronouns. Now, when it comes to pronouns, we're going to stay very general, and that's the way I like to roll at least my videos. I don't like too many questions or pointing it in a certain direction because it could get a little skewed. But I want to see Felix's raw opinion on this, and I also want to see in the comments the raw opinion of our fans and the people who are critics as well. So when we're talking about pronouns, we're talking about male and female as a sense of a base for biological genders, and also pronouns in the sense of it's he, him,
she, her,
and they, them.
Yep.
If it's anywhere outside of that realm, that's what I would consider taboo, but we're gonna get there. And not
which I don't even know. Is there more outside of those 3? I could be. I'm very.
There's so many, man. I'm gonna pull this up real quick, but I want to get your opinion as we go through. So these are the different, I wouldn't say accepted, because or they're acknowledged in a sense. That's a better word to use. So obviously you start off with the male and female, but then you have bigender, which actually, like, have you ever heard of a hermaphrodite?
Yeah.
Someone who's born with
both.
In a sense of sexual, not necessarily a sexual orientation, but they have sexual organs from both.
Yeah,
it's a rare commodity. It happens, but it's a very rare commodity. But it does happen, so it has to be acknowledged. Then you have your gay and lesbian, pansexual, asexual.
And this is where it gets confusing because I feel like, and maybe because I'm in the 90s growing up, we weren't shunned or we never shunned anybody who was gay, lesbian, heck, even it's taboo to say now, but like the transsexuals, the trannies that would dress up, guy dressing like girl, or vice versa.
Right.
But it wasn't shunned. It was actually in some ways very much like, I don't know, at least with our family, we didn't mind it. It didn't bother us too much.
Yeah.
The drag shows and all that. I think I've went to one drag show in my entire life.
I
It
was
was
gonna
as an
say I've
adult.
been to a drag show. It was fantastic.
It's amazing. It's fun. It's those women know what they're doing.
Them bitches put on a show better than some like biological women. I'm like, yo, these biological bitches need to step it up.
But I think what it comes for me, and this is where I've never really shied away from this type of topic. If someone decided to talk to me about it,
right.
I'm for with whatever you want to be considered. If you want to identify as a male or a female,
right.
You have every right to feel the way you feel.
Right.
I have an issue with certain ideologies of that. There's already extremist versions of it that I don't fully back.
Always. In every situation, there's an extremist on both sides.
Oh, of course, and I know there are heterosexuals that probably feel in a way what I feel, but to a whole nother degree that I don't fully back.
Right.
I think when it comes to the pronouns, the they them is the one that really confuses me, because in the English language, they is multiple, them is multiple. So what does that mean for that person that says, well, I identify as a they them?
Right.
And I had a really good I had an employee that worked with me, and I don't know if he watches the show or not, and I won't name drop just out of it, but I remember when the said person came up to a manager and said that they wanted to be referred to as they them, and it was a big topic of conversation because I was like, that's kind of hard on my English, because
right.
the person dresses a certain way, but gender wise and organ wise, it was of
something else,
something else, of a gender that I'm used to. So I would say, if I see a female, hey girl, what's going on? Hey, or what's up, bro, to a guy. So it was kind of hard to, where I'm crossing that, I'm pitter pattering around it. But again, if you say, hey, refer to me as this, I'll try my best. It's not gonna be perfect. I may end up slipping. If I see you as you're a boy and you want to be they, I may every so often say, hey bro, and I'll kind of do the head like, shit, I didn't mean to say it like that. But most people understand, it's still a new concept, it's still something that we're not used to.
Right.
As long as, and if you're understanding of it, I will level with you. Again, I will work with as best I can, but understand that it's still something that's my English is not gonna catch up to right away. Yeah. But I hate when I'm talking to you, and I go, bro, that's crazy, and then I have someone on the outside who wasn't involved in our conversation get involved. You're gonna piss me off.
Yeah, mind your own fucking business.
Yeah, and that's what I think what I've noticed a lot of this gender pronoun stuff going is that, oh, are you assuming his gender? Like, wait a second. I'm not assuming anything.
Right.
But in our mutual relationship,
right,
we are boys, so exactly. I'm going to say bro. So, and that's what I think a lot of time I hate hearing is the outside noise on a conversation you weren't involved in.
Right.
That's where a lot of it gets skewed up. Again, you can be, if you want to be considered female and you're a male, physically, hey, more power to you. I don't think you should be but this is where I'm probably gonna get yelled at for this one, but I don't feel, and I don't know where you feel at,
right?
But if you're a male who wants to be a female wants to be a male, 100%. Again, you want to do the surgery, 100% in your right to do that. Yeah. I don't think you should be in the opposite bathroom that you're changing to.
Okay.
And my only reason is, and this is where I'm kind of iffy on it, because I've had this conversation in privacy with other people, and I've said it one way, and they've kind of corrected me. Well, what if this? So I'm gonna say it this way. It's still an idea I'm still kind of battling with. But if you're a person who's transitioned,
right,
and you've done the surgery, you've done all the reworks, everything, right? You have new, if you're, let's, for example, male going to female. I think that's the more sensitive one than it is the other way around.
Oh,
But
yeah.
male going to female, I don't think you should be in a women's locker room
No.
because, or a women's bathroom, especially like those big ones, those when there's like multiple stalls and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
sure.
Because I think it leaves too much opportunity if we're saying, oh, but he identifies as a female now, so she should be allowed to go in there. But my issue with it is that there is, and this is a story actually I've heard, and I read about that there was a female or male turned female, identified as a woman, went to jail, and because she now is identifying as a female, they put her in a women's correction facility. She knocked up 5 inmates. How are you a female, but you knock up other women? That's not.
You're a male identifying as a female, and you like women, and you still
Yeah.
dick. So
this is, and this is where I draw the line. It's like, wait a second. If you did the surgery, I'll call you a female. I'm not gonna probably date you just out of preference. You can date whoever you want. It won't be me. I mean, I'm married, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But you know, you gotta. I think about it this way: like the organic woman's body goes through a lot of things that, you know, men don't go through. Whatever transition you do to us, I'm not gonna get a period. I'm not gonna catch menstruation. You can't knock me up. You know, I don't have those organs to do it. Don't care what you do to down there. It's not gonna happen. Our body doesn't do that. It's not built to do that.
Okay.
So I think,
yeah, 100%. It's not.
you know, and this is where my standpoint is that, again, you want to be a female and you do the surgery, by all means you could do that. But I think in regards to like bathroom, sex ed, stuff like that, bathroom wise, you need to be. I'm okay with building a third one and making it a 1-stall bathroom, and it's a gender neutral bathroom, and yet you still have the men and women bathroom for like the full privacy stuff. It's like, you know, girls, you know, need tampons because of, or pads because they're on, you know, they're menstruating. You know, guys don't really need to do that. I'm cool with the baby dispenser so guys can take care of the baby or vice versa. You know, change them. I'm cool with that. But like for the gender neutral one, it's just a 1-stall bathroom. You use your you used it whatever way you need to use it. Get out. So that's just my take. I don't know what you feel on that.
Well, as you say, you know, this gets confusing, and to add a little bit of a joke.
It looks like a Pokemon.
What
it is.
You remember the unknown?
Oh God, I remember them.
All right.
Pokemon was ahead of their time.
Yeah, they knew all the letters. So yeah, all right, and I'll put it this way, as raw and as rated F as possible. It's none of my business what you identify as or what you want to call yourself. If it's they, them, he, she, he, him, she, her, I don't care. If you're not my friend, if I don't like reside with you, if we don't click, it's not my problem in the first place. But whatever you want to do with your life is your life. I know this. I mean, we're only in our 30s, young 30s, and I'm 32, but this younger generation, and even subsequently a lot of our generation, has this YOLO mentality, in a sense. You know, there's a you only live once kind of thing. It's dumb, but it's a recipe for disaster, because you encourage yourself by saying something that's completely reckless, by doing reckless things, because we don't know how much time we have on this one. So you might as well do it because you do this, or you might as well, you know, live your life because no, you gotta live your life responsibly, and you have to understand who you are as a person. That's where the gender situation comes in, because you have a lot of people who either grew up a certain way or just feel biologically a certain way. You know, there's different chemical balances and imbalances that make a guy who feel a lot more masculine, or a guy may feel a lot more feminine in the sense of how they act. Also with females, you have a lot more masculine females that in society you say they act like a man because that is a gender role in a sense. You're
Yeah.
acting like a man, or a girl who is everything is pink, everything is Barbie, everything is uber feminine. It's like, oh, she's very girly. So
Yeah.
it's more of a society run situation. Do I care what you do with your life? No, because it's not mine, and I could care less. That goes for everything and anything under the book. If you want to do that, go ahead and do it because I don't care. It's your prerogative. It's what you want to do with what you got going on. So if you're a guy and you say, "Hey, I feel more like a female," and you want to go have surgery to remove your dick or put, you know, a prosthetic, what do you call it, an augmentation,
Yeah.
breast implants, or you want to, take hormones to change the way your body is, you have to be ready to understand that there's consequences that come with that. And you have to be ready to understand that society is going to shun you because it is a taboo situation. We live in a very black and white society where it's men do this, females do this. And for the past few decades, I should say, and I say few because it hasn't been the past 20 years. It's
Yeah.
been quite longer than that where women are going into the workforce, which, for me, if you want to work, I don't work, I don't care. Like, my wife is the breadwinner in the family. So it's like, if a male wants to be a stay-at-home dad, go right ahead. If you want to do this, if you want to do that, fine. But it is also, it's messing with what was normal and changing it at a rapid rate. So when anything ever changes at a global
Rapidly.
stance rapidly, you're going to have pushback on it because a lot of people, especially religious people, do not, and conservative people, I should say, which I am. I'm conservative. I wouldn't consider myself religious in a sense, but I do believe in God and I'm a Christian. But it's not normal in my eyes to see these things happen. But I do respect it. I acknowledge it. Do I have to confide in it and be like, oh, I'm talking to you. Oh, did I disrespect? I don't give a fuck. Like, did I?
I think that's the difference.
Dude, or I called you. Yeah, go ahead.
That's a difference though with a lot of people is did I offend you? Oh, I'm sorry if it offended you. It's like jokes shouldn't. Look, I hate seeing because I love comedy. I love watching stand-ups and stuff like that. And I hate to hear that a fan heard a joke and got really upset about a joke. Like, it's a comedian. He's gonna take light to a lot of topics, political, religious, whatever the case may be, and he's gonna make light of the situation. And he's gonna be a joke.
Push boundaries.
And it's gonna be very pushy. I listen. If I grew up watching old Richard Pryor takes, I grew up watching, and then in the later years, Dane Cook, Joe Coy, Carlos Mencia, and Mencia was another one. Dave Chappelle is a huge one. But what I dig with a lot of them is that these are jokes, and I don't get why words. It used to be growing up, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Apparently, words have a stick in them because they're hurting.
Yeah. Well, it's also a generation in a society that we grow up with now, because you have your Karens and your Kens, and they feel like everything revolves around them, and they want everyone to acknowledge what they think their opinion is. Like, your opinion doesn't matter that much. And it's sorry to break it to you, but even my opinion doesn't matter that much. It's just my opinion.
What's the saying? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Everybody has one. So go and wipe it. Like, nobody cares about your opinion. If it doesn't resonate to what I believe in, then I don't care. I'm not gonna care. But a lot of people, especially in this society, like to push their opinions, and it's the smallest dog with the biggest bark that get the most done. So you got your Karens and your Kens and all this going on that is just like, oh, I want to be acknowledged. I want to be a part of society. I want equal rights. I want this. Everyone deserves equal rights. I think it's a hypocrisy that you have gays and lesbians that can't get married. Why? The divorce rate is high. Let them get married and be as miserable as we are. Go ahead. Let them get married and be as happy as we are. Go ahead. what is
Yeah,
it? It was like, and then he pulled the
and I
Bible
get
out.
that, and like some people, like they use the religious aspect of that one.
Yeah, pull the
I've
Bible
always
for
been like,
man and woman.
listen, I at the end of the day, people can get married in a church or they can get married in a courthouse. So
Right.
it doesn't matter at this point. If it was all through the church, then yes, I can get why you don't want it to happen. But the
Right.
fact of the matter is, if the state wants to go ahead and get them, allow them to be married,
Right.
you know, they're not doing anything against your religion, or they're not
Right.
doing it again. They just want to be happy,
Right.
you know, or
And
an attempt at some type of happiness.
with our generation and younger generations coming forward, I believe, and you could quote me on this if you'd like, there's always going to be a pocket of people that will still, go in a certain direction, but I believe that religion is going to become obsolete because it is a foundation of how to act in society and how to treat people. But it is also it's perceived differently by different people, and it could become extreme. It could condone extreme behavior. It could also condone very passive behavior when it comes to how you act and how you treat people. But if your religious ideologies are getting in the way of somebody living the life that they want to, then you need to keep your religion to yourself. You need to keep your own opinions to yourself.
I think
And
that's the big difference, though.
that's a huge difference because it's not going to happen because church and state is supposed to be separate, but it is highly run on what the Bible says, especially here in America.
Well, and that's
So
not uncommon, though. If you really look back
it's
in
not
time,
uncommon.
before in the Roman Empire, before
church
they
rules.
made, the church was thing. When you got appointed king, you were appointed by
Anointed.
God, you know.
Yes.
So, and I think I'm not against if you want to have some type of ideology where the church has some influence to the states of the law of the state. But
Right.
there is, I don't think, and this is where I differ with your opinion, is that I don't think religion will go away. I think definitely religion will stay. I just think there has to be a fine line of, where's the line of saying, as a religious person, I don't have to judge your life. Let that fall into God's hand. You know, if you're Christian,
Right.
you're Catholic, you're
Right.
Hindu, whatever it is,
Yeah.
every religion has some type of truth behind it, and everyone skews their own version of the truth because, like you said, everyone interprets it differently.
Mhm.
But the biggest thing is God is your judger, not the person. Us as man we have faults. So God will have to judge that,
Yeah.
your fault, and say, well, it's not that bad of a fault. You can get to heaven or not,
Right.
and if being gay is a sin, right? That's what the Bible had said. If you really want to look into it, I don't know the exact quote wording,
Right.
but it is stated in there that, same sex is a sin. But
Okay.
I think what I hate to see on the other end of it, this is where I'm in a weird middle, because I'm for whatever you want to do behind closed doors is you. It's not my business. As long as it doesn't affect me in my personal life, I don't care. Like, who you go to bed with at night, that's on you.
Yeah.
But what I hate to see is that those religious people get so involved that they criticize those people, they attack those people that they grew up with. A lot of people have been friends for years and then ruin it because, oh, you're gay, or you're a lesbian, or now you're a trans.
Or
Like,
they turn their back on family. People I've seen is like your son or daughter, and they come out being gay or lesbian, and they're like, "You're no son of mine, you're no daughter of mine. Get out of my house." I'm like, "Yo, that's your flesh and blood. You loved them yesterday, and because they express their opinion today, all of a sudden they're dead to you. It's fucked up."
yeah. And I hate to see, like, when
I
politics
feel
and
like
religion
that's
does
a
that.
bigger sin than being gay or lesbian. Turning your back on your family because of who they want to be, who they have no control of being, and not loving thy neighbor, loving thy family. Be thy flesh and blood, and you turn your back on that. That's worse than turning your back on God.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we have to look at, and for the community, for this community, it's not so much the message of you're not being accepted. I think
Right.
sometimes it's just the way they a lot of them go about it. It's a little too like
It's
aggressive,
in your face.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's okay to say, hey, you know, I'm lesbian, I'm gay, you know, I
Mm,
identify as a woman, even though, you know, genetically I'm a male, you
mm,
know. Just give me the I just hate when people are so pro trans that you
mm.
forget that women did so much to get the rights that they have today, because women had no rights. If you want to go back,
Remember when just a few years ago, when Bruce Jenner, I think it was, he
yeah.
transitioned into Caitlyn, and within 6 months he became Woman of the Year.
Yeah, that
I was
blew me
like,
away.
man,
Man never had a period,
oh
man never
god.
gave birth. How are you women of the year?
I was like, when you mix logic with emotion, that's the product. What you're saying is this man is being a better woman than any biological woman for that year in less time than a physical year. So you're saying just because you're pandering. That's what
Yeah.
I see in this society. Everybody likes to pander to each other's emotions. Don't give a crap about your emotions. What you want to do, if somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, I identify as a she, and you look like a guy," okay, what's your name? Your name is Scott. Cool, Scott. I don't have to call you dude. I don't have to call you girl. I don't have to call you bro. I don't have, none of those like little nicknames or anything like that. What is your name? Whatever you give me is what I'll take. But I am not going to put myself in a situation where I have to pander to you. I have to acknowledge most of what your life is going through because I still have to live mine. So when I turn my back, if you're not one of my friends, I can give a shit less about you. Because my boy Felix identifies as a man. And I could call him bro. And I could call him man. But if you come tomorrow and say, yo, I identify as a woman, I'm like, well, do you? What's your name? Francesca? All right, fine. All right, Fran. All right, Francesca. Cool.
It would probably be something to stay in the same realm, but it'll probably be like Felicity or something like that, you know,
Well, let's see, you already
spicy.
got a name change out. They already got a name. Already got a name picked out. You better shave that. But yeah, that's like I don't care. It's not that important to me, at least I should say. To them, with the way they live and the life that they've been through, that is circumstantial depending on the people they've been around and their opinions about the situation. If you want to be a tranny, be a tranny. If you want to be gay. You have no control over some of the emotions.
Yeah, and that's why I hate to see this
But don't
backlash
get your
against them.
emotion. Say it again.
No, I just hate to see the backlash against because it's not like they want it to be this way.
Right.
Like, you know, I remember when I started feeling like, oh wow, I really like girls. You know,
Right.
I remember watching like Power Rangers and watching like the Pink Ranger and
Yeah.
going, wow, she's gorgeous, and I was just like drooling over her, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I like girls. You know,
I never
and
looked at
for
the White
some
Ranger.
people,
Yeah.
you know, but you know, I remember that was like first memory that I remember going, wow, like, oh yeah, I knew I was going to like women that way. Most people when they started really saying like, man, like I like the other sex, I like the same sex.
Right.
You know, it's not something that you want. It's just sometimes your body, you start leaning to a certain way. You start feeling it. Like, man, like I really don't see this. Like I've never looked at another man and went, man, like, and not seriously looked at a man and said, oh man, like bro, beautiful. I want him. Like I've never had that thought in my head because it's just
Jason Momoa.
not something. No, I said he could take me if he wanted it, but that's a whole nother argument.
He is a snack pack. Anyway, go ahead.
But honestly speaking, like I hate to see anybody attack or shit on somebody who's of it doesn't follow their same lifestyle. And the same thing goes for like the gay community or the the LGBTQ community that attack a heterosexual because they're heterosexuals. Like, wait a second.
Yeah.
You want to be accepted, but you can't.
You wouldn't be around because your parents had to have sex to have you. Like,
Yeah, like
you can't. I can understand it might be just like how they're treated from certain heterosexuals because people could be nasty. They can be very upfront with their opinions and think that the world is going to change just because they open their mouth. That is not true, and it goes from every aspect of life. But if you identify as a woman and come back to what you were saying about the bathroom situation, there's already, and don't take this to heart, there's already handicapped bathrooms. Not saying that they're handicapped, but it's
Yeah.
a single stall where anybody could go in. I've used I'm not handicapped, and disabled in any right. I have a bit of a head injury, but I get by just fine in life. But if I want to go into the handicap stall and there's nobody in there, go right ahead. So if you're thinking of a third bathroom, it's like, okay, it's just a handicap stall. And if you're not comfortable going into the male or female, I'm not going to force you to be like, what's your biological identity? You were
Yeah,
born a boy. Go into the boys' bathroom. And it's like, I don't care. Just go take a shit and shut up. Like, like you have your or what I've seen in the malls, you'll have what is called a family bathroom.
yeah,
And it's the same concept as a handicap bathroom. It's just labeled differently. It's like Cheez-It party mix, and then they changed it to snack mix. It's the same shit. So
yeah.
it's like, so just go use your bathroom and get your day on. But they want to have like, oh, I identify as a woman, so I'm gonna go and use a woman's bathroom.
Yeah,
And they
but
think in society that, oh, that opens the door and realm for molestation, for rape, for certain situations when it comes to children. Look, if somebody wants to hurt your children or hurt a
they'll
woman,
do it.
hurt a man, you think a sign on the bathroom door is going to stop them? What kind of dumb shit are you talking about? And if it does happen, handle it. We have a judicial system, and we have cops, and we have courts to take care of that.
The
But just
unfortunate part of that, and not
yes.
to cut you off, the unfortunate part of that
Oh,
same logic
right.
is that when you think about it, and I'm with you to an extent, but my issue I see with the judicial systems that is not foolproof. There have been a lot of people who has been dead guilty and they've gotten dead to rights, but unfortunately something can happen and the guy got away with it, so I can also see why people say like they don't have that full trust on it too. And why and I'm a criminal justice guy. I went to school, I studied a lot of stuff with it. My dad was a cop. So I understand in a lot of aspects where people see that and go, I can't trust the system. There was a bar I went to, and it was the first time me and Anise actually saw this. We went to this bar over in like downtown Orlando. I think it's like over, if I'm correct, I think it's over like on Mills.
Okay.
And they actually is one of the only bars I've seen so far. Maybe more, but I just haven't been to them. It's the first bar we've seen that had a gender fluid bathroom. So there was no multiple bathrooms. It was one bathroom, and it was male or female.
Probably single stall.
No, it had urinals and like 2 or 3 stalls.
Okay.
If I remember right. So I didn't feel fully comfortable for it because it's a bar setting. So any drunk idiot sees a woman in there, they could get stupid. So
make you do stupid things if he thinks.
Yeah,
stupid.
that's why I thought it was weird to have it in a bar. But
well, that's why you have, and I say this a lot, is that's why you have a liberal stance on life, and you think that you could appease to everybody's opinions and domains, and you can make everyone happy. It's horseshit. Do I agree with a gender neutral bathroom with multiple stalls? No, I believe in multiple bathrooms. A single stall. Everybody just go in when you go in, but you have your privacy, and privacy makes you feel safe. And
that's the main thing about a lot of the women stuff. Their body is very private, and this is why I'm pro the organic woman, because life goes through a woman in a lot of aspects, and I don't mean it saying that I don't want people jumping, oh, you're a turf, because it's not that. I again, transgender women can do what they feel like as far as changing in their body,
right.
But you can't not give birth to a woman biologically, scientifically.
And that's the thing that we're going through in this society. We are trying to blur the lines of what a woman is or what a man is. We should stick to it biologically. A man is, and have your criteria, and what a male body can do and produce in the sense of testosterone, and without any hormone therapy, nothing. This is what your body naturally does, so that is what you naturally are. So then you have female, or it's a lot more complex. You can give birth, you can produce milk, you could, you have a uterus, this, that, and the other. So that is what you identify as biologically. You are a woman because your body can do miraculous things. Just because you are a man who transitions to be a woman, emotionally and physically, you may look and feel as a woman, but biologically, you are a man. No matter what you have done, you are a man because your body cannot act naturally like a woman. You had to force it to
And
become
yeah,
female esque, or what I should say, feminine, but you are not female. You could identify as anything you want, you could be emotional as all you want. That's fine. I don't care. And some people may say it's a mental instability. Some people could be a nature or nurture situation where something happened to it at a young age or just at any age, and it forced you to think differently, act differently. It forced you to look at society differently. And that is circumstantial, and that's also horrific in the sense of what has happened to you. So I don't want
yeah,
anybody watching this and think that we're attacking you. It's like if you had something that's bad that's happened to you, and it could be directly correlated to the way that you act today, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But at the end of the day, it's still your life. Do
yeah.
what you want, do what you care about, do whatever you want. Do not pull.
As long as it doesn't hurt anybody else or yourself, or
Even
it
that's
puts
why I draw
anybody
the
at
line on
risk.
that. If it hurts yourself, I don't care. Because you an adult and you could choose and you should understand what is right and wrong. Regardless of what you've been through, it doesn't take much to Google what's right and wrong. It doesn't take much to talk to somebody about what is right and wrong. So if it hurts you, go for it. I could care less. If it hurts somebody else, then you have to understand what is right and wrong and why this may hurt somebody else. If it's indirect, you still had a choice. You still
Yeah,
had a choice to make that move. It's called chaos. And what my dad says all the time is chaos reigns. If you're going to go down a road and you know that it could have some consequences to it, you still went down that road. I still picked this topic to talk about. And I know that there's consequences that could come from it, but I still went down this road. So chaos reigns. But you have to be an adult and suffer the consequences that come with things like that. You have to suffer the scrutiny that comes with the actions that you make, because at the end of the day, you still have your opinion, but you're still human. You're still going to make mistakes. But don't pull children, which I've seen before, into this mix of, oh, they identify as a girl. He's a boy biologically, but he identifies as a girl.
he can't even speak.
Or she, yeah. I'll say it again.
They're like, they can't even speak for themselves yet, and they're already saying, "Oh, this is a boy." I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
it has a vagina.
Eight,
It's
or kids who are all 8 and 11, and the families are giving them hormonal therapy because that's what they want to do. It's like, no, 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 wait, we have to have it because whether
I
this
think
is
there's
a
a fine
phase
line of
or
that.
not, as a parent, you have to be smart enough to say it's okay for you to do things that can physically show what you want to do. You could dress a certain way. You could grow your hair. You could cut your hair. My wife has short hair. It doesn't matter, long hair, short hair, whatever. You could speak a certain way. You could act a certain way. Sure. But when I tried to, as a child, change the way your body is naturally hormonally taking its course,
That does more
before
damage than the
it,
actual surgery itself.
in the long run, it's going to take some drastic hits on who that person grows up to be. Because what if they change and they
And
say,
actually, there's a
"Oh,
lot of
well,
stories, and I don't
I
want to take too
wasn't."
much time and cut you off. There's a lot of stories of
I
people
knew
who've
this was going to be a
changed.
long one, so go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people that there was a story recently, and I know there's a few of them, but one sticks to my head. It was a guy who changed to a woman at a young age. I think he did it as a female.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He did it at like 14. I want to say 14, 15 years old. He did it. And he became a female.
It's still developing. Okay.
And the guy is now 21, or woman she is now 21, but now regrets the change so early because now says my parents should have stopped me because I think that I was in a phase, and now I regret doing this.
Yeah.
And now I have to live with this consequence. Going back to what you're piggybacking what you said earlier, chaos wins. Now he has to sit there and live with this consequence because now he's like, I really want to identify back as a boy, but there's no surgery to revert this.
So that's where it comes into a situation where it's a mental, not illness, but
it's a phase, if you want to say it, and for lack of better words.
Yeah, it's a mental instability at a point in time that happens here and there. It could be lifelong, it could be circumstantial in the sense of a phase, but you have to think about what you're doing because it's not reversible. You just cut your dick off. You just or as a woman, you just changed your gender, your vagina,
and you're
into a penis. Like, it's not. In certain situations, it could be reversible, but you're damaging your body because of how you emotionally.
How much stress did you just put on your body to do that? Like, it could kill you faster.
I don't. To me, I don't get it because I'm a straight guy. All right, I've never looked at my thing and said, "I don't need you."
I don't like it.
My body is my body. I might look into the mirror and say, I want to lose a little fat. That is something that I can naturally do without any supplements, without any surgeries like liposuction and this and that, the other. What can I do to just burn this fat?
Yeah.
I could go for a walk. I could put on my sauna suit and go for a walk in the sun. I could sweat. I could exercise. I could do this. I could do that. I don't like my beard. Grow it. Shave it. I don't like my hair. Cut it. Grow it. I don't like this. I don't like that. Some people always say, because like me, and that's a different topic, but my nickname is White Boy Rob. Growing up, the black community, I never really had many black friends. One of our best friends, two of them, are Monty and Quincy, but I met them within the last less than 10 years because they kind of we could ping off each other. But the black community has always looked at me because I'm half Indian, and the way I speak and the way I hold myself as, oh, you're not black. Oh, why do you talk like that? Why does your hair look like that? It's circumstantial of the way I act because of what I've been through and why I call myself White Boy Rob. Why some people at work call myself White Boy Rob. Because they're like, yeah, he's an Oreo. He might be dark on the outside, but he's white on the inside, bro. Double stuffed. Like, pause. But
pause.
But it is all circumstantial. So when it comes to the topic at hand, it's like, okay, you're a boy and you identify as a girl, or vice versa. It could be circumstantial. It could be because of the way you act and how society has seen you. And they say, oh, you're not really a girl, you're a tomboy. Oh, you're not really a boy, you're a fag. Sorry, some people don't like that word. I don't give a shit. But and when we grew up, calling somebody that was not.
It was rough, but it wasn't as
rough,
like.
But it wasn't like uncalled for. Now it's like you could almost go to jail for calling somebody. Excuse me, a faggot. You could call you and be like, "Whoa, hold on." It was like, I don't use that word usually, but from when I grew up, I'm putting it into perspective of what used to happen.
Yeah, that word was very common. Even saying the term like, "Oh, that's gay." Remember, like, that's gay, and then
I said that 3 days ago to you. So
yeah, seriously, like it was a phrase that even sometimes I'll say it in privacy, talking with people, and I'm like, that's gay, and then and someone had a conversation like, oh, that's like so rough to say, or that's so uncalled for, but. There's other people. There's people in the gay community that I'm friends with that say that's gay to me.
So, and that's what I come back to when it says like there's a small dog with a big bark.
Yeah,
because
there is
a small point of society. There's a group of society that is screaming to the top of their lungs that they want this and that and the other and this and that and the third.
But it doesn't sit with the same ideologies of the actual big group.
Yes. Because when you have the gay community and you talk to a gay community and be like, how do you feel like this? Like, I don't care. I just want to be me. Or Ron DeSantis is coming and say, you can't say gay in Florida, whatever actor, bill.
Yeah, don't say gay ban he has.
And as like part of it, I understand because as kids in the sense of elementary school and any school like elementary school and middle school or high school, it is not a teacher's job to answer those questions. It's a parent's job to answer those questions. And a
Yeah.
lot of parents are too chicken shit to talk to their kids and raise them correctly and understand like, hey, I gotta put you through some of those tough questions so you could be prepared for society. I've seen it a lot where they just shun them and hide them away from anything negative or anything that's way too much because they're a kid. So I kind of understand where Ron DeSantis is going because kind of like you don't need to be saying these things to children. Then there's the other side to it where it's just like, oh, you just can't say it at all. And it's like, okay, it was like there's no rhyme or reason to that, so it's just him looking for votes from a conservative community.
Yeah.
So I walk around sometimes in my community, and I'm like, I see gay flags. I see it's okay to say gay in Florida. I'm like, okay, keep it moving. If that's your opinion, if that's your ideology, perfect. But it should be okay for me to say gay as well, in the light that I want to say gay. You can't
Yeah.
say just because it's okay for you to say it in a certain term, that it's not okay for me to say in a certain term. Because if I want to say, man, that's gay, I don't have to have a definition of what it is. Because society says what a man is and what a woman is, and there's different like spectrums to that. But if I say, you're acting a little feminine over there, or she's acting a little rough over there, masculine over there, okay, keep it moving. I'm not going to shun her or him. I'm not going to bully him or her. But I don't have to acknowledge who you are. I don't have to acknowledge who you want to be. Just tell me your name and we can be friends. I don't care about that life. And a lot of society now is so emotionally driven that they want to change constitution and amendments off of their emotion. And I'm like, yo, in a year, that shit's going to change.
Yeah.
Because your
Or the next
emotions
regime
change.
comes over and say they don't like that and get rid of it.
Right. Look at 4 years of Trump. We've been playing cleanup for the last 3 years because of 4 years of Trump and all this craziness that they were changing.
And all those bills
And
went active, and they're like, crap, those bills suck.
And you're like, what are you doing? It's because of conservative emotions. And now you have liberal emotions. And it's the same jazz. Same shit, different toilet.
Yeah, I think
Get your
there is a
emotions in
fine
check.
line. There is a
understand
super
who
fine
you are.
line with everything.
They're really, I think, because of the emotion. There's a super fine
Because of the
line
emotion.
people get offended. I don't care if I offend you. It's okay to be offended. It's called the difference between ideologies. It's called the difference between opinions. I don't care if you get offended. I get offended sometimes. It takes a lot. But who cares if you're offended? I'm not going to change rules and laws and amendments and constitution.
And
I'm not going to change
if
the
you
way
don't,
I act.
if you get offended by it, walk away from it. Don't say it. Why does it have to be a show? Why does it have to be a show for you to leave? Like, this is offending me and this is offensive. And they have to make this whole argument about it. Listen, you have every right to feel offended by this.
Right.
You also have I have every right to not care that you were offended, and you can just happily leave.
Right.
So, like, that's where I get upset about too, with a lot of the community when they're, that offended me. It's like, well, what offended you about it? Oh, well, you misidentified so and so.
Who cares?
Was I talking to you, or was I talking to him?
Yeah.
Or her?
Mind your business. A lot of people want to stick their nose in people's business that they don't belong in.
And just gotta mind your business. Everyone mind their business. Do what you gotta do. And I think this wouldn't even be a big topic
if people just mind their own damn business.
Just mind your own damn business
and treat people with respect and treat people with kindness. There's not enough respect and kindness in this generation, I should say, this society,
in this world.
Everyone in this world, because everyone is very selfish. It's about what I think, what I want to happen. But then it contradicts the person next to you. And it contradicts. It's like, yo, keep your opinions to yourself. You can acknowledge people, treat people with kindness and respect, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Because just because you have your emotions out of control doesn't mean I have to change anything about the way I speak, the way I think, or the way I act. And that goes for society in a whole. It's crazy to see what America has bend itself too, just because people speak loudly.
Yeah, and I
Except
think
for looking at the real understanding of what is going on. What
no
is
one
the
wants to understand.
real? No one wants to understand. They just want to have their emotions and they go.
Hear
As
me, and this is what I feel, and that's all you
yeah,
need to know.
right. Because I saw an interview. It was actually, I think it was in the UK. But and it's not just America, but America seems to be the smallest dog with the biggest bark.
Yeah.
But and I'm a patriot. I love America. It is the land of opportunity, but it is not the best country in the world when it
Oh
comes to
yeah,
certain
we have
situations.
our faults. We have our major
There's
faults,
better countries that have better healthcare. There's better countries that have better laws.
which we
There's
will get into that in a different time. So I
yeah.
want to.
Anyway, yeah, we're already an hour in, so shit. We don't have 2 more hours. But yeah, when it comes to the way things are in a society like we have it, we were watching an interview, and it was a girl who was a boy, biologically, who identified as a girl. And they were having their conversation with this panel, and the guy said, "Well, why do you identify as a girl?" He was like, "Well, because that's how I want to identify, and you can't change that." He's like, "Okay, fine. Well, can I now identify as a girl?" And they said no. And they were like,
Oh,
"Why?"
I saw that one
You saw
too.
that one. There's a girl with long hair and a white guy on the
Yeah,
stage, right? Yeah,
yeah. It was like
and
I think he's like a senator or a mayor or something like that.
something like that. I can't remember if it was in UK or if it was over here. I don't remember, but I
Yeah,
think it might have been in America, which is just
yeah. I think
fueling the
actually,
point.
now that you said that, I think that was
Hmm.
here in America.
Which fueled the point. Oh, that sucks. But anyway, I was mistaken about where it was. But he was like, "Okay, well, I identify as a woman now." He's like, "No, because you don't have." I think it was like gender dysphoria or some type of like
This
mental illness.
dysmorphia. Yeah, she said
Dysmorphia.
gender
It's like, "Oh,
dysmorphia.
you don't have that." It was like, "So I have to have it in order to feel like if I'm the opposite sex?" Well, no. It was like, "Well, you just put yourself in a bubble. That's a circumstance. That's highly circumstantial that you have to have this disability." And they were like, "Oh, it's not a disability. Then what is it? Is it a mental
Yeah,
illness?"
you
And
gave it you literally made it a disability by calling it gender dysmorphia.
right, so as I started stumbling over her words because she didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. So it was like, "Yo, your emotions have gotten so jumbled that you think it's a mental illness," which you could say, if it's a mental illness, it has to be taken care of. It has to be treated. It has to be looked at. It has to be researched. But you cannot pick and choose when and who has this simply because you identify like that,
Yeah,
or it's convenient to say, "Oh, I have this." Then that means that you're saying you have gender dysmorphia and you have an illness. You have a mental illness that is a disability and it needs to be treated. So what you're saying is that it is not a natural situation. It is
yeah,
something that needs to be treated. So you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
yeah. It gets so
It was
crazy with
such a
this because, and you
weird
know, I
situation,
think there
but
was
it
another
opened
one with the
doors.
same. So, and I don't mean to cut you out. There is another one, another conversation, like interview with I think that same. I think it was the same senator or whatever he is.
Hmm.
And they asked. It was again same situation where they asked him about transgender and all this stuff, and
Hmm.
he says, "Listen, I'm not saying you cannot feel the way you feel, but just because
Hmm.
you feel the way you feel doesn't mean I have to change the laws because
Amen.
or, organic women, I will
Right.
always use that term organic women,
Right.
because those biological women that did this,
Biological.
they fought their tooth and nail to
Right.
get the rights that they have today. If we start changing the law for transgender women, what does that do for? Does that mean that now man or woman now lose rights or gains rights of the
Right.
women that they fought so hard for? You
So
know,
it
there's
should
so much,
be,
there's a gray area with that because
and
it
yeah,
diminishes that.
and that's where
And
it should
then
be
with
broad
that,
spectrum in a sense of just equal rights for
equal
all,
rights, keep it all the
but
same, but
also equal consequences. Because just
100%.
because you open your mouth and you have an opinion doesn't mean that you're not abide by the law.
And it
That's
goes for, and it
all.
goes same thing for men, it goes same thing for women,
Yeah.
same thing for whatever you want to
Trans,
identify as.
you go into jail, and biologically, if you're a man, you're going to male jail. If biologically you're a woman, you're going to female jail. We're not separate unless it's a danger to your life. We're not separating you just because you have a feeling. Because next week you might have a different feeling. So now it becomes.
I always go back to that man who identified as a woman, went to jail, knocked up 5 inmates. Like, come on.
How?
Like it. So I don't want to go too far into this. I definitely want to hear what people say in the comments. I know there is a lot of conversation here that was said, a lot of stuff that was mentioned here.
Right.
So
it's going on long enough.
yeah, but I definitely want to just kind of end it on this note. Is like, if LeBron James and Dave Chappelle said this joke, and I thought it's funny, but it was also very
true,
very understandable. Like I put it into that, when he put it that perspective, I definitely started thinking the same way with this.
Right.
If we are allowing, the identification of everything, and you want to put them in the sports that they identify as, here's my only issue. LeBron James decides he wants to be a woman now.
Right.
He's one of the best basketball players, arguably, in the world of all time. Now because he identifies as a woman, does he play in the WNBA, where he will proceed to drop 1,000 points a game?
Yes, and dunk on everyone, and single-handedly beat everyone, and win every championship, and get paid less.
Yeah,
because unfortunately, and I think it's just circumstantial. A lot more people watch the NBA than they do WNBA, so it feels it's a profit, and it goes from there.
Which the WNBA's ratings have been going up. I will give them that credit.
I've been watching it. That's fine.
I watch it I can't watch it all the time because I never know the schedule. Haven't fully committed, but
legends. I've been backtracking too. There's a lot of legends like this.
Yeah, there's some women that ball out better than the men. 100%. I definitely give them credit.
Yeah.
But
you got Stu Bird and shit.
Yeah. But if you really think about it though, that's where it gets dangerous, because now you have a full body male going into it with the women dunking.
Right.
So again, I want to hear people in the comments. We know there is no way we're standing where we're attacking anybody, guys. I know everyone who's probably gonna jump in negatively are gonna see this and say trigger warning, but I'm gonna tell you right now,
trigger warning and you're shooting blanks. That's your gun, man.
To the finger.
You got your trigger finger. Yeah, if you're too happy on your trigger finger, that's you. That's your emotions. But we are having an open conversation that goes into any realm, and that's what we do on this channel.
Yeah, and not everything I agreed with Robbie, but there are some stuff we did agree on.
And vice versa. It's not everything, but at the end of the day, we're adults, and we know how to handle a conversation. Be an adult and understand how to handle society, your emotions, and your conversations. We could go far in this.
And opinions. I think everyone just needs to look. This is our stance on it. Doesn't mean that it's the right way. Doesn't mean it's the wrong way. This is what we feel.
I know that I said some stuff that is going to kick somebody in the ass and the teeth. It's like, okay, well, that's just my opinion. It's not right or wrong. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, remember, guys, to like and subscribe to the channel. As we said before, we have our Twitter, which is @ratedf2, and the Instagram, which is @rated_f. Sorry. Always let us know what you would like us to talk about if you want us to get deep into conversations like this, because I like to keep it funny and wholesome and cracking up all over the place. But this is something that's been in society for a while, and it's something that's been bothering me, because you see certain situations that kind of want to drag you in, and it's not fair. But let us know what you want to talk about. Next week might be Bigfoot. Who knows? I've been saying that might be my next topic, Bigfoot. Anyway, we also have the podcast. Felix, thank you for being the tech guy and working so damn hard on the back, man. I owe you. Without your hard work in the background, this channel wouldn't be shit, because I don't know as much as you. So I am the voice. I know how to get raunchy, but you make this channel run, and I greatly appreciate all your hard work, bro. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify Podcasts, and officially we are on Amazon Music. Many more to come, and I ain't gonna say nothing because of my chain. Let us know, and we will go on that note. You got anything else?
No, man. I'm good with it.
I'm out. Take care.
Same.
Y yo no juego de parar. Yo no juego con